anything? Okay. So, hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's FARO webinar. Today we'd like to introduce to you the new features of PointSense for AutoCAD version 17.5 within the next about 50 minutes. My name is Jana Siebenbrodt. I'm the product owner of the PointSense for AutoCAD of FARO, and today with me is from Americas. There is Isabel Suarez, trainer and support engineer, and before I start with my presentation, we have some housekeeping notes. So you can use your headset or you can dial in via phone to listen to this webinar. You find the phone number in the upper right corner of this slide. You as attendees, you are all muted, but you can ask questions while I'm presenting using the questions and answer option of the BlueJeans panel. And at the end, we will collect some of the questions and answer them also in audio. And for all of you who like to share the webinar later with colleagues, we are recording this webinar as well. Okay. And please note that this webinar will focus on PointSense for AutoCAD, PointSense Pro, PointSense Building, and Heritage. And there will be additional webinars next week covering PointSense Plant for AutoCAD on December 7th at 5 p.m. Central European Time. And there will be another webinar also next week, December 8th, for PointSense for Revit. You can register for those webinars if you go to the FARO website, new events and webinars. Today's agenda is as follows. Before I start with the new features of PointSense for AutoCAD, I will give you, for those who are not so familiar with FARO's PointSense for AutoCAD, I will give a brief overview and then follow with the news about version 17.5. All right. So first of all, where in the overall laser scanning and evaluation process do we find the PointSense product? So first, on site, you will capture scan data from different positions with all types of scanners, not only FARO scanners. If you're using PointSense Heritage, you may also collect your point clouds not only with laser scanners, but also with photo cameras. Relating to scans, you will in the office, or some may also already register their scans in the field. That means registration. You combine the individual scan positions into one common reference system, and also in the office you can pre-process the scan data. Pre-processing means that you clean and filter the raw scan data, and usually you would use a pre-processing tool like, for instance, FARO Scene to do so. The post-processing means interpretation modeling is usually done in a design tool like Revit or AutoCAD, and our PointSense is a plugin for AutoCAD. To get the data into AutoCAD and PointSense, you may directly export RCP RCS files from FARO Scene, or you can also export E57 from any other scanner software. Or you can use Autodesk Recap in order to create RCP or RCS point cloud files from your scan data. So today we are talking about PointSense. So we are talking about interpretation and modeling of point clouds, not only from laser scans. FARO offers various tastes or flavors of PointSense. There are some industry-specific PointSense products like PointSense Building for creation of 2D plans of buildings, like floor plans and section plans and elevations. Then we have PointSense Heritage, which combines laser scanning and photogrammetry and is mainly meant for people working in archaeology and preservation of historical sites. We do have a PointSense Plant, which will be covered in a separate webinar, as already mentioned. And we have some generic products. We have PointSense Pro, which is and PointSense Basic, which are AutoCAD plugins. And we do have a PointSense for Revit, which is also covered in a separate webinar, and which is, as the name might suggest, a Revit plugin. So we will talk about PointSense Building, PointSense Heritage, and PointSense Pro in this webinar and the new features inside these products. AutoCAD itself does have some native point cloud tools for displaying and cropping, sectioning, and snapping to point clouds. With our PointSense Basic product, we add some additional tools for cropping and slicing, and we have a good section manager to turn on and off the visibility of certain sections. We also offer a scan navigation tool. You will get to know it in a while. Also in PointSense Basic, we have a tool for creating ortho images from point clouds, and we also offer a planner scan view mode. So you have, in addition to the point cloud inside your AutoCAD, you can use the planner view or the quick view of scene to pick points. Sometimes this is more intuitive to navigate, so you have this additional tool as well with PointSense Basic. Adding to those PointSense Basic features, which we also improved in version 17.5, the section manager and scan navigation. We have in PointSense Pro some additional features like for feature extraction, for lines, polygons, planes, cylinders, and we have also some analysis tools in PointSense Pro. And as new features, we have added to PointSense Pro the Smart Snap feature. You will learn about it in a few minutes. And we also added fit profile feature and some deviation visualization. And also in the industry solutions of PointSense for AutoCAD in PointSense Building and PointSense Heritage, we added new tools. Those industry solutions, they do contain the functionality of PointSense Basic and Pro, plus additional functionality, like here in PointSense Building, tools for creating 2D floor plans and elevations, to draw doors, windows, stairs, etc., and do some area calculation. And as a new tool, we have a prototype for aligning wall lines. You will learn about this as well in this webinar. We also improved the tool for creating the wall lines themselves. In PointSense Heritage, you get, in addition to those PointSense Pro tools, you get tools for stereo photogrammetry and for creation of image plans by unwrapping colorized point clouds into the plane. You will learn about this tool also in this webinar. We did some improvements there. They are not new tools. We have them for quite a while now.
I also wanted to make an addition. One of the things that I find really valuable with the PointSense package is that it enhances the ability to use point clouds within the native Autodesk environment. And one of the features that I really appreciate is being able to work on a locked point cloud. So with all of these additional tools.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, thanks, Isabel, for the addition. And some of you might also be interested in which AutoCAD's the new version of PointSense is compatible with, or which AutoCAD versions it does support. So we have here a list of the supported operating systems and AutoCAD versions. So we always support the latest AutoCAD version, which is now 2017, and also the verticals of this AutoCAD version. And the new version of PointSense does also support older versions of AutoCAD, starting with version 2013. It does not support AutoCAD LT because we are using and relying on the point cloud engine, the native point cloud engine of AutoCAD. And LT does not have such engine. All right. So far about the brief overview. Let's have a look at the new features and their benefits for you. The first feature I like to mention is the Smart Snap, which is really new in version 17.5. It works like the known AutoCAD object snaps. With it, you can precisely snap to planes, corners, and edges of a point cloud. And we have also options that allow to snap to the highest or lowest point within a certain search radius. The benefit for you is that Smart Snap allows you to draw and model the as-is situation much easier. You have far less clicks for getting corners and edges. So for those who used PointSense already previously, to get corners and edges, you would have to fit planes and then intersect the planes to get the corners and edge points. Now we have the Smart Snap and it's much faster. And also, this new Smart Snap tool gives the user much more control on the points that are snapped than the native AutoCAD Point Cloud Snap does. Native AutoCAD also does offer some point cloud snaps for snapping planes or edges, but you never have a control which points exactly are snapped and what's the accuracy of them.
It's nice to have this extra visualization that we have to show you where the selected point is before you accept it as a point that you want to use.
Yeah, right. And to give you a feeling on what the Smart Snap feature looks like, I like to demonstrate briefly directly inside AutoCAD. Okay, we switch to AutoCAD. So here you can see a point cloud, a scan of 2 rooms. I have already digitized the ceiling outline of the left room, and what I like to show you beside the Smart Snap tool is some improvement we did to when we switched to scan navigation. If I click on, you will notice that now the point cloud becomes transparent, so it's far easier to click the scan label of the scan position which I want to go into perspective view. So here we have our scan data now in a so-called scan navigation mode, where you look at your object from the scanner position. And what I like to do now is to digitize the outline of this window recess. One more thing I like to show you is also it's a smaller improvement in the section manager, which some of you might know already. There you can, whenever you need to, you can turn on transparency. Here you can see now the line that I have already digitized. For digitization of the recess, I will turn transparency off again. And I will start the new Smart Snap tool. You get, by running the tool, you will get an additional toolbar for the Smart Snap, where you can turn it on and off using this button. And you can also change between auto mode and and manual mode. We have different types of snapping modes, like point to plane, corner point, edges and corners, or only edge points, and highest and lowest. Let's digitize the recess using the edge and corner snap. I would just draw a line to outline the recess. Let me just enable a colorful layer, and I start the line command, and you can see at my cursor, I now do have a circle around my mouse cursor, which represents the search radius. I can scroll it smaller and larger, just to analyze the points within a certain area. And when I click near the edge or the corner point here, I do get a visualization where I can check. So the green point, it would be the point which I would get if I used auto mode, but the blue points show me some alternatives which I can check in 3 different views. And I think this one looks quite good in all 3 views, and you get additional accesses that help you judge the quality of the proposed point. And if I think this is the correct one, I can just click on OK or use the tab button on my keyboard, and you see the line was snapped to that point, and I proceed with the next corner over here. Again, we can check. To me, it looks pretty good already. Let's see how this looks. Well, maybe even better. So I confirm, and I could continue down here and see what happens. This is a little bit more complicated situation down here, but still, I would like to get a point very close to here. This looks okay to me, and I can confirm here. So I think you get an idea of the usefulness of the edge and corner point snap. Let me show you. We have 2 more options, like highest and lowest point snap. I will demonstrate these on a different example. Let me just close this drawing. Here we have a scan data of road cross section, and what I like to digitize is the bottom line of this curb using the smart snap. So I run the tool again, and here I think I will start the line command once more, and I would need to snap to the lowest point within my search radius. So I enable the lowest point snap, and we have 2 options: the projected lowest point and the real lowest point. So now the projected lowest point is enabled, and this is also what I really need. Let me just increase the search radius a little bit, and you can see you can see a small blue cross inside my search radius, and you can also see a little circle. The little circle shows me the point with the lowest z value within my search radius, while the blue cross shows me the point where I get my xy coordinates from. So I get the z coordinate from the point with a small circle, and the xy coordinate from the point with a cross. So I can start drawing along here. Oops, I want to pan. Just click roughly around this corner. Quite straight on over here. Okay, I think that's enough for you to get the idea. we turn it a little bit more transparent, so you can see how easy it is to draw the bottom line of a curve. The same way I could do with the top of the curve using the highest point snap, projected highest point. I'd also like to show you how you can use the other mode, with the real lowest point. If you for instance want to know in a certain area of the road where the water will run to, you can for instance from PointSense building, you can start the labeling tool for heights or elevations, and with the smart snap now the real lowest point enabled, you can see that the symbol changes a little bit. The small blue cross is directly inside the small blue circle, means that you get the X and Y as well as the Z coordinate from the lowest point within that larger search radius. So if I want to analyze a larger area, I can enlarge the search radius, and my height annotation will be put to that snap point. Okay, I think that should give you an idea of the Smart Snap tool. I will just continue with the next feature, which is also new in version 17.5 of PointSense. It's included in all PointSense solutions except PointSense Basic. It does fit 3D profiles along a point cloud, and shall help you to model all types of profiles in 3D, like the 3D model of a curb or of ornaments, or even if you have steel beams that bend, you can model those beams with this tool as well.
Yes, I was going to mention the steel beams if you didn't mention it. I had a customer that needed that, and it worked very well for them.
Yeah.
And yet another application where I found it useful was for digitizing railway ties. We had a customer with an electrical substation, had train tracks going through, and were able to model it very well with this tool.
Oh, cool. Good. So I will just go back to AutoCAD to give you a brief introduction to that tool. It's really easy to use. In here, it's the same road cross section example, but this time we don't want just the lines of the curb, but we want to model this curb in 3D. What I did, in preparation, I created a slice through the point cloud and digitized the profile, the cross-section profile of the curb. That's what you need before you start. And having prepared this, I can run this command in PointSense Building. You find it here. In PointSense Pro, it's hidden in this pull-down menu. And the dialog works a little bit like a wizard. So the first thing you have to do is select the cross-section profile. Here you have a small sketch that helps you understand what's asked now. And as soon as I've selected the profile, we're back in the dialog with a check mark here. And the profile length is a parameter where you can control the fitting accuracy. The smaller the profile length is, the better you get around curved parts of the 3D profile, like this curved part of the curb here. I would just leave it like it is. That's given from the software in relation to the red cross-section profile. What you can also do is define ends of the resulting 3D profile. You can snap point cloud starting point here and end point over there. If you don't define an end point and a starting point, the tool will just go along the point cloud as far as it finds some area where the profile might fit, and you can stop the fitting by pressing escape at any time. And the output we want to create are, for demonstration here, profile lines as well as the final 3D surface. And I just click start, and you can see this is really real time. The profiles are filled very quickly. It starts to one direction, and once it reached the endpoint, somewhere there around the corner, all right, it will continue to the other direction of the selected cross section. And now I'm asked to delete any profiles which I don't need. So I could select some profiles over here, which I don't want to use to create the 3D surface. And in this example, all the cross sections fit very nicely, so I could keep them. But in some cases, if you don't define a start and end point, then some additional profiles might be created that you don't want to use for creation of the surface. Therefore, we have this option to delete some of the profile lines. And now you see this was also real time here. In just a few seconds, the tool creates a 3D surface from all these profiles, and you have the curve in 3D. All right. So we have another tool added to PointSense Pro as well as PointSense Plant that helps you to visualize deformations and deviations of the point cloud from all types of different surface shapes, like cooling towers or steel beams or the valve we can see in the screenshot over here. And it shall help you to quickly recognize the deformations from the reference geometry or deviations from the plant or model design. I will not demonstrate this tool. It's pretty easy. You just select the surface, the geometry objects that represent the surface, and then select the point cloud, and it calculates another new point cloud, which is then colorized by deviations, and you get a legend in the end.
And it's very similar to our existing planar analysis tools, and the results are pretty much the same. But what I like about it is that you can model anything that you want or need in the point cloud, and then compare that model to the point cloud.
Right. Okay. Another one of the completely new features in PointSense is the align walls feature, which we only have in PointSense Building. And so far, this feature is just a prototype. And in PointSense Building, we introduced a new feature group called Sneak Preview. And this is a category of features collecting prototypes. We think they are good enough to let you try them and get your hands on them and give us feedback. So the sneak preview features are your chance to participate in early developments at FARO in PointSense. So you can benefit from very early from new developments, and you have the chance to influence the future functionality and enhance the features by your feedback. So that's mainly what the new sneak preview is. And the first tool we've added to the sneak preview group is Align Walls. As the name says, I might suggest, is that it's intelligent automatic alignment of wall lines inside floor plans. Your benefit is that you get quite quickly architectural type plans with parallel wall lines and rooms with square corners, and also rooms and walls that are actually aligned. The tool works as follows. First, you select all the lines that you want, all the lines that you want to align or make perpendicular, and the tool then analyzes those lines and polylines and determines the reference directions, and then aligns the lines with these reference directions within a customizable tolerance. Best thing to give you an idea of the tool is maybe a demonstration again. And we go back to AutoCAD here. Here we have again our two rooms which we scanned, and the workflow, the supposed workflow would be that you first create a slice of your point cloud and digitize the wall lines. And before you add doors and windows, you would want to align the wall lines and apply constraints like square corners for the rooms. And that's what we can do. I have put in some annotations here, and you can see that the room corners are not square right now, but using the new Align Walls tool, you can select those lines, enter to confirm the selection, and then here you can see you can set increment angles for the alignment. The default selection is 90 degrees, but you could also, if needed, you could also apply constraints like 45 degrees angles between the wall lines. You have various parameters to adjust the wall alignment, the maximum deviation for axial alignment of wall lines, is especially of interest if you have the outer scans of the outer side of the wall of a building, for instance. I would just hit OK here, and in the command line you're then asked, in the drawing you will see the proposed adjusted lines in red, and you have the option to keep them or discard them, and I want to keep them, of course. And you can see now we have new lines. They are black. Let me just delete the annotation over here, go in here, annotate, and we put in the new angular annotation in here, and you can see that this corner is square now, as well as this one over here. Okay, same with the other, with all the other corners. I will not put the annotations in here. So this is mainly what this tool does. After applying these constraints, you can continue adding doors or windows or even stairs, depending on what you need inside your floor plan. With the new sneak preview, you also have the option to give feedback. Let me show you this briefly. If you hit the feedback button, you will get to a web page where you can leave your feedback on the particular sneak preview feature. For now, we only have the align wall lines feature where you can give feedback on. Okay. What else have we done to improve PointSense? We improved in PointSense Heritage. We improved the creation of image plans. We, especially when for unwinding point clouds and images, and the calculation of true orthophotos, we have increased the speed. They were quite the calculations were quite slow before. You also need less clicks because we now directly support RCP and RCS point clouds. You don't have to create a smart section first. You can directly select your RCP file to unwind it. And also the visual quality of the results has been improved. Let me just because calculation still takes longer than 1 or 2 minutes, I have prepared a video to give you an idea of how the unwinding feature works. Some of you might already know it. So before you can unwind anything, you have to create a projection surface for the photographs or for the points of the colored point cloud. So we have defined the slice, and we fit a polyline to this point cloud slice. This is in time-lapse mode. And once we fitted the polyline, we can use this to create a 3D surface of a 2D polyline using a PointSense Heritage tool called Edit Prismatic Surface. So we select the the polyline, click an upper and lower point, and we have the projection surface. And then we can run the unwrap surface command from PointSense Heritage. And you need to select the projection surface. That has been done here already. And you can see the RCP point cloud has been selected. And when you run the calculation, you get a result like this, which looks pretty good, I think. And having created a true to scale, true to length image plan, you can of course use AutoCAD tools to annotate and do measurements and maybe draw a vectorized facade plan on top. Okay, another improvement which I have already demonstrated when I talked about SmartSnap is that in our section manager we have now a transparency option and also an option to change the point size without needing to select the point cloud explicitly. You can turn the point cloud on, transparency on and off while you are drawing and modeling, and this helps you a lot with modeling.
Yes, it is. It is much faster to have the tools right there, just on the side of your model space, and be able to change that in the middle of any command without breaking the command.
Yeah, exactly. And another improvement with the help of transparency, I also already demonstrated, and this is when you want to turn on scan navigation, you can the point cloud automatically gets temporarily transparent, so you can much easier select the scan labels of the scan positions. And also, we have now the possibility to explode the scan labels for users that, for any reason, need a scan map. For somebody who does not have PointSense inside his AutoCAD, or who is using a different CAD like BricsCAD, and you want to provide them with a map of the scan positions, you can just create the scan positions in PointSense and then explode them and export the DWG file or DXF file with the labels just represented with standard CAD geometry. Another improvement we've done to PointSense is that we put the point cloud parameters into directly into the fitting and pattern recognition tools of PointSense, like plane fitting, cylinder fitting, and many more fitting commands. You will have the point cloud parameters directly in there. It helps you to be even more aware that these point cloud parameters matter for the results of the fitting tools. And also, you don't have to leave the fitting tool itself if you feel like you need to adjust the point cloud parameters for a certain area of point cloud you're working on. So you can adjust those parameters directly from inside your fitting tool, which is quite handy. Then we also revised and improved the old fit outline plan command. This is a command that helps you to draw the outlines of walls with the help of point cloud sections, point cloud slices. But not only with the help of point cloud slices, but also with the help of scan navigation, it's now possible to draw the wall outlines. It offers more options like forced perpendicular or 35-degree wall lines. It's working more efficient, and you will need, if you try it out, you will recognize you will need far less clicks than in the previous version of this tool. On user request, we also did various improvements on our analyzers tools, like the plane analyzers. You will now find options for labeling the highest and lowest deviating point from a reference surface, which you can see an example here in this cyan colored annotation. And we also added in the dialog, we added a checkbox for the square grid. So you don't need to enter 2 grid lengths, just one if you want to have square cells for your analysis grid. And also new are these green and yellow labels to the rows and columns of the grid, which correspond to the cell numbers in the ASCII file, which you can also export with the analysis tool, which those labels help you to better find correspondences within the deviation table from the ASCII file.
Yes, this is a great improvement to help find or help tie in data that's outside of CAD, perhaps in an Excel file, and help those engineers find out where that would physically be, let's say on a wall surface. Very helpful in the paneling industry, also good for any sort of flatness analysis like concrete analysis.
Yes, and another improvement in the analysis tool is that we have now provided you the option to organize your results more easily. So we have prepared some configuration tools to define layers to put the different analysis results on, and you on your own can define the name of those layers where the grid shall be put on, or the points or the lines, etc. Then we have done some improvements on user requests on 2 of the plane tools, like the fitting tool for one-click planes and for the automatic rim tool. We have included two new command line options that help to change the search radius around the click point without needing to go into the parameter dialog. And inside the parameter dialog, we added options for limited and unlimited plane over here, which makes the tool a little bit more flexible on the results created. And another thing we added is the option to create or not create sections when you use these tools. Previously, we did not have the option that both tools always created point cloud sections in the section manager. And if you use the tools very often, the section manager could become very crowded. So if you don't want those sections to be created, you can now uncheck this option, and your section manager will stay clean and uncrowded. Then we did, in PointSense Building, we did some improvements to the tool for measuring rectangles. So now in addition to the rectangle itself, you can create annotations of the width and the length of that rectangle you created, which comes quite handy when you draw pillars or beam cross sections or openings or covers or anything which is rectangular. Okay, that were the features which I wanted to introduce to you today. At the end, I want just to make you aware of further upcoming webinars next week for PointSense Plant and for PointSense Revit. You can register for them on the FARO website. If you want to have further information on PointSense for AutoCAD, you can go to the faro-3d-software.com website and check out the product sites there too. I'd like to thank you for your attendance. I hope it was interesting for you, and I would like to ask Isabel if there were any written questions in the questions panel so far. Then we would like to answer them right now.
Yes, so far I don't see any questions. So if any of you have any questions that you'd like to ask, just feel free to go over to the right-hand side of your screen, click on the Q&A button, and then just type in your question there for us.
And in case that questions arise later on, you might also send an email to me or to Isabel, and we can also answer your questions if you have some later.
I don't see any yet.
All right, let's wait just another minute, because sometimes there's a little delay. Broadcast. Okay.
Yes, it looks like there are no questions.
All right. Then we just thanks again for your attendance, and yeah, hope it was of use. Hear you in one of the next webinars. Bye.
Oh, I do see a question. I see.
All right.
May I see an example of multiple slice?
Multiple slice.
It wasn't one of the new features, but
No,
the multiple slice tool.
It's one of the existing ones.
I believe we have a video of that online, but if you want to show it, you can, or we can send a video.
Yeah, I think it's easiest to send a video, but multiple slice. Let me just go to the clip here. And multiple slice is hidden in the drop down over here. And you can decide whether to apply it on the visible section only. And we will just create multiple slices parallel to the XY plane for demonstration here. And we can add intervals, I think, to make it not too many, let's say half a meter, or maybe just 1 meter, to give you an idea of how it's working. Create a station list. Can even adjust things here.
Or add specific elevations. If you wanted to know a specific elevation, like at a
Right.
counter height or something, you could type that in there.
Like here, yes. Or pick it from CAD, like over here. Okay, then it's added in here. And you can continue, and you can name the slices by station value, which I usually select. And we don't color the slices here. I think point cloud color is fine. And then I'll just click on finish, and it should not take too long to create. How many was it? 6 or 8? 6 or 8 slices, yeah. So we have them over here. Need to, oops, there you go.
I think just because the interval was the same as the thickness, but you can also modify.
Okay, I didn't modify the thickness over here. Yeah, that's why it's so thick. But you can always reduce the thickness going in here. Yeah, it was 2 meters thickness. Woo, that's far too thick. I think you got the idea of the multiple slice tool. Okay.
All right.
Were there any further questions?
No further questions so far, so I think that covered it. And we're going to make this available for review.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So within the next few days, you will receive an email with the link to the recording to share with your colleagues. Okay, thanks once more for your attention.
All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you, Isabel.
Thank you, Jana and Katrin.
Yeah.